Tonight only on 12, he escaped justice for 16 years before he was finally caught last week. So why was he then released back into our community?
That is the question we are asking tonight after a judge set a $5,000 bond for Adan Huerta, who pleaded guilty to negligent homicide back in 2002, and then he went on the run.
Joe Dana spoke with the county attorney about the defendant's release.
You would think that someone who spent years hiding from the law for a homicide conviction would not be eligible for bond. But last week, a judge disagreed and allowed Adan Huerta to go home. Every day, county judges, known as commissioners, decide if defendants should be allowed to post bond and for how much. But are they too lenient in some cases? Twice in the past week, two high-profile defendants were ordered to be released into the community after appearing before a commissioner, then taken back into custody after prosecutors second-guessed the decision.
Once a bond has been set, we respect that judge's decision unless there is new information where we feel that we have to go back to the court and ask them to reconsider.
County Attorney Alistair Adell's office pushed back against the commissioner's decisions in both cases. In one of them, 37-year-old Mexican national Adan Huerta was wanted after he pleaded guilty to negligent homicide in 2002.
Adam Perez Huerta.
Last week, after 16 years on the run, Huerta was extradited from Canada to face a judge. That's when County Commissioner Rodney Mitchell allowed Huerta to post just a $5,000 bond. Huerta was able to await his next court appearance from the comforts of this Mesa home. When he showed up for a status conference this morning, prosecutors asked a second judge to hold him without bond. That judge agreed.
Our primary concern was public safety and making sure that there was justice in this case. So when we asked the court to reconsider his bond, it was to ensure that he would appear for his sentencing because he was on absconder status for so long.
A second case involved Marcelino Ontiveros Quinter, arrested last week in connection to one of the state's largest fentanyl pill operations ever discovered.
Mr. Ontiveros Quinter, you're here on a new Superior Court case.
In that case, prosecutors asked for a $750,000 bond. Instead, Commissioner Stephen McCarthy concluded no bond was needed, releasing Ontiveros Quinter with an electronic monitoring bracelet. He has no criminal history and has steady employment, two factors in his favor. But just hours after that decision, the commissioner changed his mind in a big way, holding Ontiveros Quinter and requiring a $500,000 bond. A representative of commissioners who set bail for defendants says it's not the practice of the commissioners to comment on cases. Back to you.
Okay, Joe.